So if you watched the last video, you probably saw that I made these two small canvas paintings. They're actually fridge magnets, so that's really cool, and they do stick to the fridge fairly well. I don't think you could hold up anything heavy with them, but I made these two paintings, and these are based on Art Deco style paintings from Art Deco style stained glass windows made by Charles Rene McIntosh. He's a European artist. So for these, I made like 20 different sketches of things I wanted to paint. I think I'm going to do a couple of like traditional style Hello Kitty little paintings, and of course these lights are actually just for a little bit of extra lighting because where I'm painting my lighting is not that great at the moment. So for this painting, I'm just using two of these little canvases that I got from Walmart. I think they were $1 something each. Some seriously cheap paintbrushes, and also some cheap acrylic paint, and I'm using a general 3 different brands. This is your really cheap acrylic paint. I find that it's pretty good though, especially for projects maybe like fridge magnets that probably won't go into a gallery and be there for a few hundred years. But I find this is decent quality, super cheap though, acrylic paint. And with that, I think I will start sketching, and I'm just going to do a sketch with a Prismacolor Col Erase pencil.
So I was just going to leave it as music, but I wanted to pop in and make a comment here. I didn't like where this was going, so I wiped the paint off and started again. Don't ever be afraid to do that. Like if something's not going the way you want it, especially with acrylic, paint over it, wipe it away, start again. I know it's a little bit harder with some mediums like watercolor, but there is something to be said about keeping going because paintings often go through like an ugly duckling phase through kind of the early beginning to late middle of the painting. I feel like for me, my paintings go through like an ugly duckling phase. But for something like this, I just knew it was going to be a not so appealing sky, so I just wiped it off and started over. And I guess since I'm already talking, I'll go over kind of my inspiration for the piece. So I really like desert landscapes and scenery. I've never actually been to the desert, which is kind of a bummer. I would love to actually see it because I know it's supposed to be really beautiful, but I just kind of love that sort of scenery. And the second painting is pretty much the complete opposite that you could get from the desert. It is based on one of my favorite pictures I took when my boyfriend and I, or my fiance and I, went up to Seattle. We went to the Kitsap Naval Base to see one of his friends retire from the Navy. And I have to say, although I say this a lot, I think that Washington State was one of the most breathtaking places that I've ever been. So I really, really loved this picture that I took, and I wanted to turn it into at least one painting. It might become a couple more, just different interpretations, but this is one of the mountain ranges out there. It was really cool, really pretty. That was also a memorable trip because every day of the short weekend trip, so 3 out of 3 days, I had a terrible, terrible migraine. And I'm not sure if it had to do with something about the pollen or the elevation, because I live literally next to the ocean. So my elevation may be like 5 feet, and the elevation in this mountainous area was a little bit higher. So I don't know if that had to do with it, but all in all, I enjoyed the trip, and there was a lot of beautiful scenery that I would like to go back and enjoy more when I didn't feel like my head was going to explode. And I hope that working on 2 paintings at once isn't too confusing or jarring for people that are watching this. I figured working on 2 paintings at once would be nice because then the video would be just a little bit longer. These are so small that it would only be like a 2-minute video, maybe just if I had painted one. And then it gave me time to let the paint dry on one canvas because they are so small that being able to switch back and forth while the paint's drying is really, really nice. So if you do get these, I would recommend maybe getting like 2 of them. That way you could switch back and forth while your paint was drying. But I'm almost done with them. They're so small that they paint up really fast. So this is a great project if you just want to do some quick small paintings. Maybe you've never painted with acrylic, maybe you've never painted on canvas. This is definitely a nice way to start. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video, and my fiance might have been really awesome and bought me about 6 mini canvases one day as a surprise. So there will be more mini canvas paintings coming in the future. So subscribe to my channel if you want to see those, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks!